I was the one on the other side trying to get out.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah,
You were trying to
it's
help somebody.
interesting too because in my situation, the person was it struck me strange because I had no point of reference to even deal with it at the time in my life
Hmm.
because I was 17 years old, and it went on. This relationship lasted almost 20 years. Went into a marriage and went into a divorce. Uh, and
Yeah,
and
yeah.
what was worse is there was a parent and a sibling enabling this. When I brought it to her mother's attention, I said, "Hey, she needs help. Something isn't right for someone to do this."
Sure.
And the mother was, well, she just needs someone to love her. So I thought at the time, being 17 and naive, oh, I could love her. Because you got to remember now, of all these things, I wasn't as much the one closing myself off. I was the one with the broken boundaries of, well, if I love you enough, or I was very codependent. So,
Sure.
Yeah, yes, definitely. And the thing is that I just want to offer to the person who sent this question in. I have been this person. You become so manipulative, and you are a master manipulator, and that person has no regard for what they're doing to you. And so you have to take control of yourself and be like, I can't allow you to be in my face,
hmm
manipulating me and my energy in this way. And if that person does do what they say they're going to do, which I've been on both ends. So I had
right,
somebody who I broke up with him and he tried to commit suicide and ended up in a psych ward. That's when you're a love addict, you're going to attract in toxicity on either end. You're
sure
going to either,
will,
Absolutely.
sure will, yeah,
yeah,
You know,
even
one.
that person, yeah, they want to say, what's going on with me right now that I brought this person into my life? And maybe even just saying to that person, I think we need to take up some looks at ourselves right
I do,
now. Yeah,
and yeah, and especially if you're, in a situation where someone is really threatening to hurt themselves, like you said, you do have to reach out to a family member, call the police, and depending, like you use the words master manipulator, and those words struck with me because my mother used to say that about me when I was younger. She's like, you know what, you're either a glutton for punishment or a master manipulator, and I was one of the two. I was either one, I had to be hurt, or two, I had to do the manipulating, and you do have to lay boundaries down. My parents put me in a hospital for 6 weeks in a psych hospital, find out what's wrong with
yes,
me, why
me
am I
too. I've
behaving
done
these
all
things.
those.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but there was something wrong with me that I was acting that way, and people don't act this way when there isn't something wrong. It is a cry for help. It isn't a bad thing. It just
yeah.
is what it is. So we wanted to get that. Thank you for answering. Did you have another one?
oh, and I was just number two. I didn't know if you wanted me to
Oh
read that
yeah, go
one.
ahead. Yeah.
So we have another question here that we had gotten to us earlier, and it's, I always seem to find guys who are mean to me and emotionally unavailable. They always leave me, and I feel so ugly and stupid. What can I do to attract a better guy?
That's a good one.
I had heard Natalie mention a few things earlier about acting the way you intend someone to treat you,
Hmm.
and that's very powerful. Setting that intention. I don't know. What do you think on that, Natalie?
Yeah, and here's the thing, whenever we talk about stuff like this, I think the really fun thing about the community that we belong to as healers is that we can have really open and frank conversations about ourselves and not feel like anyone's saying anything bad. I
Hmm.
love being able to call some of the practitioners that I hang out with and just say, this is how I've been acting and behaving, and this is what I think about myself. What do you think? And so what I would ask this person is, are you somehow emotionally unavailable?
Oh,
How are
okay.
you
Interesting.
how are you bringing in somebody like that? And are you emotionally, and you might not even, so they might say, no, I'm totally available to that person.
Okay.
Always ask with yourself.
Okay. Excuse us for one
Are
second,
you,
Natalie. We got a caller. We're going to answer really quick. Hold on.
Hello, caller. You're on with Heart to Heart with the Hansons.
Hi,
Hi. And who are we talking with?
Nancy.
Oh, hi, Nancy. How are you?
Good. I felt compelled to talk.
Good. Well, thank you for joining us. Natalie's on the line with us with Blissful Living. Why don't you go ahead and ask us can you hear okay, Natalie, where you are? Natalie? Did we drop
Did we
Natalie?
drop Natalie?
Natalie, if you can hear us, call us back. I don't know what happened. Hang on. We've had 2 calls come in before. It's happened. Hang on 1 second. And Natalie, if you can hear us, just go ahead and please call back. We're going to give it just a second.
She might have hers off.
What happened? Did you turn something off?
No, she might have her show off. Let's see if she's disconnected.
Is she still on?
Where are we at here?
What's that show dial pad? Is she still on?
I don't think she is.
What is that? No, I'm hearing something coming through.
That sounds like someone disconnecting. Okay. Maybe.
Hold on. What's going on? Are you there, Natalie? Okay, there she is.
Go.
Answer.
Add the group.
There we go. We just answered. Natalie, are you there?
Are you there,
Hi.
Hi. So sorry.
I hit answer call instead of add to group. I have to group you together.
We get so many calls.
Like, hold on, and I was like, okay. And then I thought, this seems like a really long time. I looked at Facebook and I was like, that makes sense. I'll call him back.
Well, that's what I said. We don't get many calls. This is really a great night for us, and so we kind of forgot how to use that.
This is the first time we've had
2 callers,
a caller and then a call in.
Okay, sorry. So we have Nancy on the line joining us. So Nancy, why don't you go ahead and let's hear what you have to say, hon.
Okay, so I don't know, just listening in on everything, like from the beginning, I was just like kind of self-examination on myself, not just myself, but the people that I'm with, I've been with and I'm with now. I'm thinking to myself, like, in all this, I guess my question would be on, let's see here.
That's okay.
You guys were talking about like how, okay, if you're in a relationship and the person, like, let's say you want to break up or something, and the person says, oh, well, I'm going to kill myself and all this other stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Well, right now I'm in that situation, but I'm like not the person that's saying that.
Right.
The person that's saying that is on the other end. And so in all of that, I think I feel like I've lost myself a little bit.
I see. I've been there.
So it kind of hit home a lot when I was listening on.
Sure.
And it helped me in a way, in so many ways as well. So I just want to say thank you for that. But my question is how do you find yourself again, like not just mentally, but physically, like spiritually and mentally, everything. How do you find yourself again? Or like, you guys were talking about self-care as well.
Sure, we'll go ahead and let Natalie answer that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Were you able to hear that okay, Natalie, what her question was?
Well, I heard there was some muffled, but the last part of it, I think what I heard her say is, how do you find yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually? Is that what she was saying?
Yeah, kind of after the situation of being in that relationship where you have someone who's threatening to hurt themselves, kind of keeping you feeling somewhat imprisoned there.
Sure, yeah. And then once that's done, what the process of it, of healing for that? Yeah, well, there's so many great things you can do physically. Sometimes when somebody's healing from something like that, they need to do mirror work, or perhaps maybe, because of some of the abuse that was happening in the relationship, there might have been the woman especially might be suffering from some body image issues. Mm-hmm. So I know some things that can be really fun are like maybe taking dance classes or getting polarity sessions done, or any type of massage or body work where you're receiving nourishing touch that doesn't have to do with like who it's just given to you freely. You're not,
a great idea.
You don't have to be good enough to receive it or lovable enough. You're receiving nourishing touch. Can be really, really healing, because we really do need to be hugged and held and touched all the time. And if you're not getting that because you're healing from this love addiction, then you need to be receiving it in a different way. And then with the mental and the emotional, one of the things that you want to do is kind of start to make inventories of the thoughts that you believe about yourself and love in this relationship. Make lists of them even if you have to, so that you can see what you need to shift and what you believe about yourself. Sometimes we don't even know what we know, right?
Of course.
Yeah. So you have to kind of go on a journey of getting to know yourself. Be really curious about yourself and like who you are, and maybe be so curious to ask yourself, who do you think you would have been had you not had the trauma that you've had in your life?
Oh, that's a powerful question.
Yeah. Who do you think you would have been if these moments that brought you to this place had never happened and you just incarnated as your true soul? Who are you? And sometimes you can even do hypnosis around that. I did a session the other day with Courtney Long on being scared to express my true authentic self. And I got so many amazing things from it, and it was so healing. And I feel more authentic each moment. It's very cool.
I'm actually
so
that's in that.
Yeah, and then maybe with the spiritual component, Nancy, what you could do is start to bring in some type of a ceremony for yourself every day that's healing. Maybe like a yogic practice, or like a mantra that you chant in the mornings to yourself, or maybe you pull your angels in and talk to them, or something like that, so that each and every day you're layering that body, mind, and spirit component.
Oh, that sounds so good, Natalie. How does that sound for you, Nancy? Does that help you at all? Does that help you get into a different direction?
It really, really does help me, like, completely. And that, and the whole body image issues, my goodness. I was just reading, actually, I'm reading Authentic Self too, with Courtney Long.
Oh, yeah.
Or whatever. So I'm reading that same book
Authentic.
right now.
Are you reading that too, Nancy?
I just got the book like last week, and I've just gotten to it like maybe 2 days ago. So I've been reading it as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be really helpful. It was really helpful to me too. And just being helpful to understand too that like it's okay to be a sensitive person. And then it's kind of this quest when you realize, oh, I'm a sensitive person, I'm a healer, I have like this soul path that might be different from most of the world. Then you're asking yourself, well, how do I manage my sensitive energy? What do I need every day to take this journey back to love? Because everyone's different. So mirror work might not work for you. Maybe you need to take photos of yourself every day and look at them, right? Everyone's different.
And Nancy, how long have you been in this relationship, if I can ask?
Okay, so like almost 2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
And he's said these things to you in the past when you wanted to walk away, that he could hurt himself.
Yeah, about like a year ago. I was gonna walk away, but I never did because he wanted to just continue on like, but you don't love me, and if you don't love me, then I'm going to kill myself, and I don't need to be here on earth, and blah blah blah, and you know what? If you do that, I'm going to go crazy and go into a mental institution, crazy stuff like that.
It's challenging to be in a relationship with someone like that, and he has his own issues that he needs to work on as well, obviously. And pulling away from him can be very traumatizing to you as well, because you two are so enmeshed with each other that as you begin to separate, filling yourself up with things. I think, first of all, I just want to say what Natalie said was just absolutely fabulous.
It was amazing. I learned a few things right there.
I did too. I just want to acknowledge everything Natalie said. Thank you very much for that. And filling yourself up too. And I think it's gonna be a process that you both are gonna require coaching and help.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, and the really great thing about any of your local listeners here is that the school that I'm an instructor at, and that Kristen and Lee got all their education with all this in, is the Southwest Institute of Healing Arts, and they offer a lot of the services we're talking about in their student clinics.
Absolutely.
And so sometimes it's free.